Sorry we're running a little late. We were hoping that Joe would be here, but he'll be here in a couple minutes. So this meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting was transmitted to the Huntington Democrat, Times of Trenton, Star Ledger on December 29, 2023, posted on the Township website, the Municipal Building Bulletin Board, and filed with the Township Clerk as required by law. For that, everyone can please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Sorry, Sam. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Diane.
David Bond. Chad Bauer.
Here.
Susan Lockwood. Here. Joseph Bogie.
Here.
Mayor Walsh.
Here. Okay, we're going to move on to the approval of the meeting minutes from February 12th, 2024, regular meeting minutes and executive session minutes, which we're going to approve in full. If I could have a first and a second.
I'll move the minutes.
Second. Okay, any discussion? Any comments? Okay. Okay, so we're going to move the meeting minutes. So all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Thank you. Okay, we're going to open up to public comment for agenda items only. If you could keep it brief, 3 minutes per person, that would be great. Anyone have any comments? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see him.
I just popped it up. I see that you've appointed someone for SWAC.
SWAC.
Solid waste.
Down at the bottom, number 7.
Yes.
Or whatever that is. I don't have my reading glasses. I would volunteer to be your alternate for that.
Okay.
Because we always had a member and an alternate for that.
Okay. And you would like to be the alternate for that?
Yeah, you already have somebody on that agenda, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to close public comment. We'll move forward with Township Committee Liaison Reports.
Excuse me,
Yes, sir.
I want to get this paperwork. I'm interested about the property on 31 Langville Headquarters Road.
Yes, sir.
Supposedly it came out that the business.
It's not on the agenda, sir, so you're just going to have to wait until there's going to be
Oh, it's coming
another.
down that way?
There's going to be another public comment period that's going to be open at that particular point in time. So if you could hold till then, that'd be great. Thank you. Any other comments? Going once, going twice. Okay, thank you. We're going to close public comment. And we're now going to proceed with Township Committee Liaison Reports. Mr. Bokie? Okay. Mrs. Lockwood?
I attended the seniors meeting and of course interested in the post office.
Mm-hmm.
They also keep asking about speeders, but the good news was that we saw that the speed machine was out there, so they know who's looking at it. I also attended virtually the Green Team meeting. And again, the big event is the Green Fair on April 24th. But they have a lot of other really interesting initiatives going on, and reducing waste in the cafeteria. It's all really interesting things. And also at some point, they have a subcommittee on renewable energy, and they may at some point be coming to talk about charging for electric vehicles at some point.
At the school or?
They cannot do it. Everyone has sort of said the school's not a good location because you don't really want strangers coming to the school.
Good point.
So they're looking for sort of an alternative location. So they're looking somewhere around like Town Central here.
Okay.
So anyways, I said they've been interested in sort of pursuing that. They brought it to the Environmental Commission. The Environmental Commission sort of asked for a little more information, a little more input.
Mhm.
'Cause there's all kinds of grant funding that can be used for that, so they may be coming back. I think they will be coming back at some point in the not too distant future. We'll have
Okay.
more conversation about that.
Great.
And I attended the MUA meeting. The issue there was, the biggest issue was who was going to pay the MUA, the sewage bill for the post office.
Mm-hmm.
There's, I guess, maybe a gentleman's agreement, because no one said they could find it on paper, that basically said the fire department, because they were nonprofit, were not going to have to pay the MUA.
Right.
MUA. The township also does not pay for this building, the
Mhm.
MUA. So the question was, now that part of that area was going to be post office, if it was going to change the arrangement in terms of someone having to pay the sewage. The decision they made, they said that it would be like a half a hookup is kind of the way they calculated it. And their feeling was that since the hall that the firemen have been using would be
Mhm.
somewhat reduced in size, it might reduce the number of events they have. So they really kind of think it's a wash in terms of usage. So they're going to leave the agreement as it is, and they're not going to charge.
Not going to charge at all.
Correct.
Okay, great.
And I think that's it.
Thank you.
Two updates. One is I had a chance to walk over Dill's Park with Mario Russo last Sunday.
Okay.
Spring sports are coming up, and we just took a look at things that are truly safety hazards. So I have a short list that I'll get over to Justin and work out a time where we can kind of go together, just point some things out. Nothing major, just a few minor things like fence posts sticking out, edges of benches that are exposed, things that are truly safety concerns. So I'll get that list to you, and then we'll set up some time to walk the grounds with you. So that's one piece. The second thing is, with the quarry, we have a meeting the 27th of March to review the latest engineer's report from the inspection.
Okay.
That's coming up the 27th of March. That's it.
Thank you. And with that, I think that's a pretty decent introduction. So I'd like to introduce our new DPW director, Justin Squashik. He just joined us today. We're very excited to have him on board. He's going to bring a lot of energy to the Department of Public Works, a lot of experience. He came from, what was the town again? Chatham Borough. So he has a lot of experience with the larger DPW crew. So we're very excited to have him on board, and we wish him all the best. So if everyone could please give him a round of applause.
Township resident.
Yes, and he's a township resident, so
It's a big one.
so welcome aboard.
Excited to be here and work with everyone, so thank you.
And Justin will be attending all future township committee meetings, so if you folks have any requests for the Department of Public Works, this would be a great forum to do that. You can also obviously email him or call through the normal town switchboard. So thank you. Thank you for attending this evening. I'll give a quick update on the post office. It isn't any different from the update that I provided at the last meeting, but I know there's a couple inquiries that have occurred since that meeting that I guess folks didn't read the meeting minutes from the last meeting. So the idea is construction is going to begin this summer with the hope of the post office opening for full business by the holiday season. A lease was signed by the federal government with the fire company, so there's commitment there. I know that they had hired an architect. The architect was making plans for the new post office or whatnot, but hopefully, I highly doubt it, but hopefully they keep up with their schedule, and we'll have a post office by the holiday season. So we'll see what happens, but it's progress, so that's a good thing. That's all I had, so I guess we'll move on to administrator's reports.
I just have one thing. We were working on the budget, and we hope to introduce the budget at the April 18th
Great, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to introduction of ordinances. So these are the introductions. So I'll read them by title. Ordinance 2024-03, an ordinance to amend the code of the Township of Delaware, County of Hunterdon, State of New Jersey, Chapter 381 thereof, entitled Sewage Disposal, to amend the percolation test fees. So I need a motion to introduce.
So moved.
And if I could have a second. Thank you. Discussion? Okay, and I'm going to set a hearing date of April 8th. Okay, second one, ordinance 2020. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to do roll call. My apologies. Roll call, please, Diana.
David Bond, Chad Bauer.
Yes.
Susan Lockwood.
Yes.
Joseph Bogan.
Yes.
Mayor Walton.
Yes. The second ordinance that we're introducing this evening is ordinance 2024-04, an ordinance to amend the code of the Township of Delaware, County of Hunterdon, State of New Jersey, Chapter 369 thereof, entitled Food Establishments and Vending Machines, to amend the food permit fee. So if I could have a motion to introduce.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do we have a vending machine?
Not that I'm aware.
Just wondering.
Maybe in the
Yeah.
post office. Maybe it's going to be the post office.
Yeah, the post office, maybe. Okay, any discussion?
No.
Okay, roll call, please.
Okay, David Bond, Chad Bauer.
Yes.
Susan Lockwood.
Yes.
Joseph Bogan.
Yes.
Mayor Walton.
Yes.
And motion
Okay, we're going to proceed with public hearing and adoption of ordinances.
carries. No, set the,
Oh, I'm sorry, April 8th. We're going to set the hearing date for April 8th. Okay. Okay, public hearing and adoption of ordinances. So we have ordinance 2024-01, ordinance to exceed municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 40A 4-45.4 for calendar year 2024. If I could have a motion to adopt.
To open up for public.
Oh, that's right. If I could have a motion to open up for public hearing,
I'll
please.
make that motion.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any comments from the public in regards to ordinance 2024-01? Hearing none, could I have a motion to close public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Then motion to adopt. So if I could have a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-01?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion amongst the committee members? Okay, hearing none, roll call please, Diana.
David Bond, Chad Bauer.
Yes.
Susan Lockwood.
Yes.
Joseph Bogan.
Yes.
Mayor Walton.
Yes. Ordinance 2024-02, an ordinance of the Township of Delaware, County of Hunterdon, State of New Jersey, to amend ordinance 2023-08 to establish municipal salary and compensation by ranges. If I could have a motion to open to public hearing, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
That's okay. Any,
That was Siri, not me.
any comment from the public in regards to ordinance 2024-02? Okay, hearing none, could I have a motion to close public
I'll
hearing?
make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then finally, if I could have a motion to adopt ordinance 2024-02?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Discussion? Any discussion?
Roll call.
Roll call, please, Diana.
Okay, David Bond, Chad Bauer.
Yes.
Susan Lockwood.
Yes.
Joseph Bogan.
Yes.
James Bond.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, consent agenda. Any committee members see any particular resolution on the consent agenda that they would like pulled from the agenda for a separate vote? You good? Good, you good? You're okay? Okay, so I'll read through the consent agenda. Resolution 24-76, appointing Director of Public Works. Resolution 24-77, authorizing issuance of special event permit, Flemington Jewish Community Center Farmland Ride. Resolution 24-78, authorizing issuance of special event permit, DNR Greenway, Kermesse Sport. Resolution 24-79, authorizing tax cancellation 2023-B5L13, Block 5, Lot 13. Resolution 24-80, amending Resolution 23-141, ABC License Renewal, Covered Bridge Hospitality Group LLC. Resolution 24-81, appointing SWAC representative. Could I have a motion to move the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. Okay, roll call please, Diane. Or any discussion on it? Roll call please, Diane.
David Bond, Chad Ballard.
Yes.
Susan Lockwood,
Yes.
Joseph Bogan,
Yes.
Mayor Wall.
Yes.
Motion
Okay, resolution 24-82, authorizing payment of municipal obligations in the amount of $2,433,659.87.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Just a note that we're paying our school taxes.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's so
That's
large.
why it's so high, yes.
You're okay? Otherwise?
Yep.
Mr. Bauer? Good. Okay, roll call please, Diane.
David Bond, Chad Ballard.
Yes.
Susan Lockwood,
Yes.
Joseph Bogan,
Yes.
Mayor Wall.
Yes. Okay, old business, approved mayor's letter to NJDEP regarding 490 Surgeonsville Road, Block 17, Lot 18. Just would like some, if anyone had any issues with me signing that letter to send off, to have the Department of Environmental Protection take a look at that particular lot and block to continue with the possible cleanup there. I don't know if you had a chance to read the letter or
I
not.
have to abstain anyway.
Oh, okay, that's right. Mr. Bokian, any comments or questions?
Now looks good.
Okay. Mr. Bauer?
I do not.
Okay, roll call please, Diana?
Yeah,
Oh.
he never moved.
Okay, could I have a motion? for
Motion
me
to
to give-
authorize the mayor to execute the letter.
Thank you.
Make that motion.
Second?
Okay, is that all in
You can
favor?
do it all in favor.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
Thank you. Correspondence from Recreation Commission regarding T-Mobile hometown grant and survey of Village Green. So we are in the process of getting the Village Green surveyed, so that, I think, Diane, what did Adam say, like within the next quarter, or? So within the next quarter.
I think they started.
So we're hopeful to get that over to you folks, and then you can make your application for the grant.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. I already provided the post office update, so we'll move on to new business. Approve organizational changes to the Environmental Commission. I don't know if you can fill me on that.
Sure, and our chairman is actually here too with you. Basically, we had a vacancy, and so basically we had the discussion of how best to get everybody in as much as we could. And so we're, again, moving Karen Peters from an alternate position to a full regular member.
Okay.
Diana Garibaldi becomes alternate 1 from alternate 2. Then Kathy Klink is coming back on the committee. She had to step off when she retired, but she's coming back on as alternate 2.
Okay.
And we have a new person, Donna Di Matteo, and she would like to join, so we're making her an advisor.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, approved farmland preservation program, SADC ID 10 dash.
Do you want us to vote on that?
Oh, I'm sorry, would you like us to vote on
We
that?
don't have to.
It's an appointment, so, right? Or
Yes, I voted on it. I would,
you would vote?
I
Okay.
make a motion to approve the reorganization for the environmental commission.
I'll second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm going to move forward with the approval of Farmland Preservation Program, SADC ID 10-0298-DE. Luxa Living Trust, Block 3, Lot 12, Delaware Township, Hunterdon County. Did everyone have a chance to review the application? And are there any questions? I guess we should move it first. Move.
I make a motion to approve, I guess we have to send something back, it looks like, saying we are in agreement with,
Right, so I guess authorizing me
yeah,
to sign.
yeah. So I'll move that.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion?
So about the only thought I have, and I find it ironic that it says, please get this back to us in 30 days, and there's no date on it. So like 30 days from when, I don't know. The only thought I had, and it's completely up to you, is if the Open Space Committee might look at it and give you more information.
We did refer it to planning board and, well, to Roz for planning board and open space, and she gave you okay. So
Okay, well then that's fine, that's good. That was my only suggestion, was if they would be meeting a week from now, and since we shouldn't have a real date. But well, if she says she checked it, that's fine with me.
Great, okay. So I guess if I could have a motion to approve me signing,
we have a motion.
we have a motion and a second, outstanding, okay. Any other further discussion from any other committee members? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, approve renewal of maintenance and farming services agreements and submission for Green Acres approval. B20, Block 24, Lot 36, Block 39, Lot 24, .07, Block 42, Lot 7, and Block 42, Lot 8. So if we have a motion for the approval of the maintenance and farming services agreements for those Green Acres properties.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
I think I'm going to abstain again.
Okay. Approve renewal of lease agreement for Raven Rock Schoolhouse and submission for Green Acres approval. If I could have a motion for that, please.
I'll make that motion. Second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
And I have to abstain again.
Okay. Request the Agricultural Advisory Committee review livestock head count ordinance. And I am asking, I know unfortunately that the Agricultural Advisory Committee was supposed to meet last Tuesday, and unfortunately that meeting was canceled. I'm not sure for the reason for the cancellation, but I am officially requesting that the Advisory Committee review the livestock head count ordinances, specifically because there is one on the books for pigs and pigs only. There's nothing on the books for cattle, sheep, any sort of livestock animal, and chickens.
So only pigs.
Only pigs on the books right now. So we're going to ask them in their expertise to come up with potential maximum head counts for, acreage or whatever the measurement is that they would like to do that. So we're hopeful that we can get that back from them quickly so that we can actually put that into an ordinance. Okay. I am going to open for public comment, and this does not have to be on the agenda. So I do ask you that you please keep your comments 3 minutes per person, please. So with that said, yes, sir.
Yeah, hi,
And
Larry,
yes, and if you could say your name and whether you're a resident.
Larry Wall, I'm a resident. I just came from Zentech Road, where we lost power for the 3rd time this month, or in the last 3 weeks, today. And I know I called Diane from Florida recently because I was there while my wife was at home with no electricity. So I don't know if the municipality has any if you have communications with the esteemed Jersey Central Power and Light. But if you could, probably, it would be very helpful if they could come down Zentech Road and just make sure it's serviced properly so we don't lose power every 2 weeks. And when I check, they're really great at their outage map. I mean, whoever makes the outage map should be rewarded because that's really accurate. But the actual repair, it seems to be wanting. And when I went on the outage map, as I drove home today and learned there was no power, it said it was going to be restored on the 13th, but luckily it was on fire. So they had to come out today. Anyway, thank you. That's my comment.
So,
I may have other comments later.
Yes, I'm going to reserve my comment back until after we close the comment period, but I do have some information that I'd like to share.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Anyone else? Ma'am?
My name is Karen Stoller. I live at 37 Memberville Headquarters Road. I'm coming back again from last month. We sent another letter to the Township Committee last week asking for some specific actions that we would like to see taken. My question was, on that letter that was sent, we specifically asked for a formal complaint to be lodged by this township to the CADB to try to prevent Mr. Alfaro from getting protections under the Right to Farm Act. My question is, has that been filed on behalf by the township?
Sure. I'm going to defer to the Township Council.
Okay. Who also received a copy.
You also received a copy, and it's up to you how
I
much
don't discuss legal steps
Okay.
in public. I can't, but I would say this is public comment, so she's indicated her concern. We've already discussed in private my views on what the next steps are in terms of what we can and can't do, and that's something that I can't divulge.
Thank you. So
then my question becomes, if we're continuing to ask these questions and we can't get any responses, how do we know where to go next, who to ask the next question?
I'll give a general response. The township will take whatever next steps are necessary, appropriate, and supported by the law, and that in that regard, it will be done in consultation with the appropriate authorities, whether that is the state officials, county officials, or local zoning officers. So that's the best I can say to you. Other than we've had a meeting last week with the appropriate parties involved, and we have been informed as to what the next steps.
yeah, I'm just going to add on to that. We're taking this very seriously. We hear you, the public, we hear our townspeople, and we want to obviously protect any potential issues that might arise from this the possibility of this farm popping up on the road. But we are, unfortunately, there are only certain violations that are outstanding right now. They're very minor. There's the possibility, obviously, that those violations could grow in number and in seriousness. And when and if that occurs, the township is ready, willing, and able to make the right steps to make sure that we protect your rights and the township's rights to prevent anything illegal from going on.
And this property will be treated no different than any other property in Delaware Township. Wherever there are violations, regardless of the property address, it will be addressed in the normal course. I will tell you, based upon personal interactions I've had with certain residents, I am confident that social media is not your friend, because there are things on social media that have been proven definitively to be false. In terms of allegations of, I'll give an example of an allegation of a fire inspector being denied access, and I spoke to that person personally, who categorically denied the allegation. So there are, and I'm not going back and forth on it. I'm not going back and forth on it. I'm doing the best I can to answer the question. What I'm telling you is, My legal advice will not be guided by social media, it will be guided by facts on the ground. And if there is a violation, it will be addressed. But chasing speculation down rabbit holes is an uninteresting exercise, and it is not something that would be appropriate for a governing body or a municipal entity to do. When there is a violation, it will be addressed. That will be assured.
Yeah, I promise you, we're on top of this, but we're bound by the law. And right now, there's 3 minor UCC violations over there. So it's electrical violations. And frankly, they're probably gonna be repaired by the time that the inspector goes back over there. Now, I understand there's anticipation based upon his actions in Pennsylvania that he's going to bring that here. But until it actually happens, just anticipating is not something that allows us to go out and do anything to prevent that, because he's not doing anything.
I understand that, but the driveway widening was a violation.
We're working on that.
That's been referred to the appropriate state agency.
Yes. So we're working with the right authorities to get, for the complaints on that. So I promise you, the township is doing everything in our power to be able to help you folks. And like I said, right now, there's just 3 minor violations. But if social media is truthful, he'll be coming over here and there'll be plenty more violations for him,
And the
for us.
concern is that he'll be protected under the Right to Farm Act prior to that, and there's gonna be nothing that this township is going to be able to do at that point in
So
time.
we're-
Or much less.
Well, we're reviewing, so we do have several actions that we're trying to do, like, for example,
Leave it there.
I'm sorry?
Leave it there.
Yep, never mind, I'm not gonna say anything, I apologize, but we're on top of it, I promise. Sir?
I started talking before, should I? It's the same topic the young lady was just talking about. And my question is,
Your name,
supposedly.
Sorry, your name, sir,
Oh,
and
sorry, Richard
whether you're a
Harden.
resident?
I'm a resident of Delaware Township.
Okay.
Seabrook Road.
What was the last name, sir?
Arden, A-R-D-I-N.
Thank you.
Just call me Lord. My question about this address on 31 Lambertville Headquarters Road was, does he have proper permits and licenses issued by either Delaware Township, the county, or the state? And is he being inspected by health inspectors and stuff? I have a neighbor that lives on Headquarters Road. It would have to be checked out because, once again, this was told to me by a third person, that this person from 31 Lambertville Headquarters Road put a fence on somebody else's property and had livestock on it. I was gonna stop at the gentleman's house today and talk to him about it, but I got a late start over here. And it's something we're concerned about, because if we have to follow the rules and regulations and laws of not just Delaware Township, but the state and the county, so does everybody else. Big point that a lot of people have seen, I had to replace a shed on my property years ago. And I went to get it, and all of a sudden they go, oh, you gotta go to Delaware Township. They had to come out, and then it had to be 10 feet off the property line. Well, okay, big deal, I put it 10 feet, I obeyed the law, so should everybody else.
I don't disagree.
We wanna take
We've
care of
had
the
our
municipality.
inspectors over there, there were 3 UCC violations, that's it. That's all we have right now, and the driveway.
And I agree with what the gentleman's saying about the internet. I got 3 big things here on the internet that came in. And
That doesn't matter.
supposedly the man's being chased out of Pennsylvania. Well, that's hearsay too. I have no
Right.
proof of that. But I just want to protect the area we live in. That's why we live here. It's so
I do
beautiful.
too, but we're bound by the law, and so we have to do, we can't do anything in anticipation of someone breaking a law. He hasn't broken a law yet, so we can't do anything to prevent that.
Yeah, he did kind of intrude on some neighbors. You might have heard about it. Not, the last name excuses. This owner of the property here had a photographer come over and take pictures of the back of their property and use it for advertisement. Like it was gonna be part of his recreation area. And they were told there's nothing you can do about it.
Call the police, that's all I can say, it's, you know. file a complaint with the police department.
We love this area, we want to keep it the way it is.
So do I. Ma'am?
Hi, Ellen Obad, I'm on Seabrook Road. So I'm kind of going back to this request for agricultural advisory committee review livestock account ordinance.
Hmm?
So we currently don't have an ordinance on the limit of number of chickens anyone could have,
It's just pigs.
just pigs. How soon before this ordinance will be set?
Well, it depends how quickly agriculture gets it back to this committee, but I'm hopeful to get that passed rather quickly.
You see what I'm getting at?
I
Like
think that's
yesterday,
why it's there.
okay? So, and if that committee should be dragging their feet just a little bit, and we don't know what that number is, and someone were to put in several hundred chickens, then is it whose authority is it then to go in and say, let me count your chickens, let me prove that you broke the law? So, like, how quickly can we move this? I know you're saying, like, they should have had the meeting last week, but could we get some kind of a deadline? Not just about chickens, but
I'll make it the
In a
priority.
month, a week?
I'll make sure that the agricultural advisory committee is aware that it's a priority. And
They don't
I
already
hope to
know?
have something back to this committee after their next meeting, which,
So then you guys would get that
And
in
we'll-
early April.
yes. And then we'll discuss it and hopefully pass something. And it wouldn't be passed because it would be a first reading,
Right.
so it would be in May.
So nothing would be set minimum May.
Mhm.
So if somebody were to bring animals in prior to that, they wouldn't be affected by that, any ordinance other than pigs.
It would be retroactively applied. I mean,
It depends, I'm not giving legal advice on it, it depends, leave it at that.
we're trying our best to be as quick as possible.
And again, for the record, we are not looking at ordinances on a specific piece of property.
Mhm.
We are looking at the ordinance in a holistic attempt to what is in the best interest of Delaware Township as a whole. It is not in response to complaints of a single piece of property.
I didn't say that.
It is in response to a single piece of property. It caused the township to review its ordinances and identify a need for a change. And that the record needs to be clear on that. And I would suggest we move on this topic, please. Okay? On this issue.
Yeah,
Not on the property, on this
No, I think
subject
everybody
of
has
ordinance.
right to a voice for
No,
free.
we're gonna afford you that opportunity.
Doing what I can do to protect the township.
Okay. Judy Allen, the township resident. Is it possible, in an effort to move along the agricultural advisory committee, great people that they are, they don't write ordinances? Would you be able to ask our township attorney for sample ordinances that other municipalities have successfully adopted in the meantime, just to move things along?
Well, they have a pig ordinance on file already, so I
That's
think
been
they
there
could take.
since time, that's because the pig farmer in Raritan Township prompted that ordinance back in the 50s or.
Mhm.
Whenever, yeah, whenever.
But if we had some sample ordinances to work from, it would move things along a whole lot faster.
I could certainly have, what you're really looking for is feedback on the numbers.
Right, I'm looking for their
But
expertise in farming,
Between now and
not
then,
writing.
an ordinance
writing
can be
ordinances.
done with the blanks to be filled in, that can certainly be done.
Thank you.
To expedite.
You just want to make sure it's defensible.
Yes.
Correct.
Kathy Clay, President, I have a follow-up question right now, and then another one. Are horses included in those livestock numbers? Because I didn't hear you mention horses, I heard you mention.
I just said livestock in general. I'm gonna defer to the agricultural
Okay.
advisory
Okay.
committee to determine what animals they think there needs to be a head count on.
Okay.
So it can be, David Hirsch, 25 Lambert Road. So it can be livestock specific, so pigs, cows.
Yes.
That's the idea.
Emus. And what about setbacks? What about like Holland Township, New Jersey, for example, has setback rules for different types of livestock? I mean, I've got
That's something that we
now
can
living
explore.
right next door to me.
Mm-hmm.
Say hi to my dogs every morning, which I would prefer not to.
Right.
So, I mean, I know that Holland Township, New Jersey has expressly written, very, very specific setback rules for chickens and other animals.
Mm-hmm.
We have an agricultural setback.
There is
Yeah,
95 feet.
75.
75 feet.
Really?
From a property.
From a property? So how do we get that enforced then?
Zoning officer.
So that's Mike Mullins. So we contact Mike, and we say that we believe the agricultural setback rules are being violated.
Or you tell me, and I'll tell Mike.
When do I say that?
Agricultural setback rules are being violated
Yeah.
at 31 Lambertville headquarters
Yeah.
to 3 of the neighboring properties.
Okay. Ma'am?
Pam O'Carroll. First of all, I'd like to address, with all due respect to the legal counsel, I think that we really, as a group, this coalition has really worked very hard to try and reach out to the township. And I don't think the township has been very responsive. I think the legal counsel's attitude that he doesn't represent us, that he doesn't report to us, is the wrong attitude. I think the attitude should be that he represents everybody in this room and everybody in this community. That should be his attitude. The second thing I want to tell you is that we have reached out because we wanted to understand the law, we wanted to understand the process, and we reached out to federal agencies, state agencies, we've reached out to other municipalities. We know we have a lot of knowledge. We have history, we have knowledge, we have facts, and we have a growing voice of concerned citizens. And we're going to use that voice, and we're going to make sure that every citizen in this community understands what's happening here. But we need you, and we want to work with you. We want to be a partner with the township. Your role is not just to live up and enact and work on these ordinances that are 50 years old. Your role is to design and implement ordinances that are respectful of today's times. Things are changing. We have an abundance more knowledge of how water systems work, of how hot the country is going to grow. We know that chickens now have biohazard signs on the front of chicken farms. We know there's a lot of changes, and your job is to assimilate that knowledge and make sure that you govern and make laws and change your ordinances that they meet the requirements of today. I'm going to leave you with a thought. If a tornado was headed right here to Delaware Township, would you sit there and would you ring every siren throughout every bit of this township? Would you do that? Would you open up every door of a shelter, and would you supplement those shelters with preemptive things of water, of food, of medical supplies? Would you advise every member of this township that something is going to happen and I'm going to do everything in my power to protect you? Well, I'm telling you a tornado is coming. It's not enough to tell us that, oh, just because it's happened in Pennsylvania doesn't mean it's going to happen here. It's going to happen here. And there's a tornado coming, and how you respond to this small piece of property, and there are hundreds of small pieces of agricultural property throughout this township. And how you respond is going to have your stamp on it. You could be successful or you could be a failure. But it's your challenge to meet it. And I'm asking you to join us, to meet with us, to discuss it, because we have facts, we have knowledge, and we know what's going on in this township and in other townships. Work with us, because we're gonna get there. We've got agencies behind us. We now even have an ear in the governor's office. Work with us now. because it's going to be a tornado.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry, could you repeat your name? I didn't capture it.
Pam Milcara,
Pam
Milcara.
Milk.
Sir?
Mr. Mayor, committee members, and listeners. That's a hard talk to follow. But there is a tornado coming, and it's prevalent within this community. We have a petting zoo over here on 523 that's been a problem, and it continues to be a problem, and there is no resident there. We have a petting zoo that's proposed to come in on 31 Lambertville Headquarters Road with no resident. Now, I think sometimes we all have time and we're dedicated to this project, and I think information that we come up with, I think should be shared with all the community, not just a certain group of people. The owner of that property is still talking about moving in here in the springtime. He's still talking about putting in 300,000 chickens. Now, those 300,000 chickens, to my concern, is this. Those chickens will consume 13 million gallons of water. And that's just a tremendous multitude of homes. Now, the township does have ordinances, and we have seen them work and work effectively. Several years ago, a third-generation farmer asked to put trees on the Lambertville Headquarters Road at Bill's Corner. A study was done to find out how much water those trees would consume. After that number came through, his request was denied. And we want to make sure that that same spirit exists today, that nobody is above the law. The owner of that property has said that he has hired an engineer and an architect to retrofit a 5,000 square foot barn that's there, so he can open it up for retail sales. That retail sales will be open from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, 365 days a year. I think those tornadoes change the character of our community, and it's not for the better. I just am here to alert the township and the committee of what potentially could be coming. And I realize there's potential. But when you hear the tornado coming, you better do something, and this is what we're looking at today. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate everybody's coming out tonight to hear what's going on, because I think the voices of many make the changes of few. Thank you.
Anybody else? Ma'am?
Deb Klein, I'm on the orphan end of Upper Creek Road. It is a very unsafe situation as you come off Upper Creek by where Featherbed Lane comes off. There's quite a drop and it goes over a trench. The side of the road has a large trench from water runoff down the road. And then on the upper end where I am, the last house in Upper Creek, it's just a horrendous situation, and would hope that we could get that addressed soon.
You have the right man sitting here this evening. Thank you. Anybody else?
Kathy Clay, President. I just want to compliment you on the meeting for the Dilks Park presentation on last Wednesday night. I thought it was very well run, and it was very well attended, and it was very, all the people were well spoken about their desires. And I just hope there are going to be more meetings so that we can monitor how much push we put on that use. That's all. I'm worried about it getting overcrowded.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful park. We've been very fortunate to have that park for as long as we've had it. Gifted to us by a third grade teacher for the benefit of the township.
Anybody?
Marjorie Derry, 139 Seabrook. I want to go back to the issue of the Ag Committee. Are they required to meet a certain number of times per year? When will that next meeting take place?
I don't know if there's a requirement, if there's nothing on the agenda, but I think they're supposed to meet monthly, 11 months out of the year. I'm not, do we know when the next one is? It's,
They usually meet the same night as the planning board.
Yep.
The
Okay.
first, so whenever. the
first,
planning
second,
board-
what is that, second Tuesday? First Tuesday.
First Tuesday.
First Tuesday.
So that would be the next time they would be
I-
scheduled.
I understood it was scheduled for the 14th.
Thank you.
It-
Okay,
yeah.
I'm not sure.
That's Thursday, that's Board of Adjustment.
Okay, I'm just, thank you.
It'll be on the township website, if anyone wants to attend that particular meeting.
I just want to be sure it doesn't keep getting canceled.
I'll speak with Mr. Bond, he's the liaison for that particular committee, and I'll ask him to make sure that they have the meeting and that this gets discussed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Diane Garibaldi, resident. Regarding Dilts Park, I just wanted to get your thoughts on behalf of the Environmental Commission. I maintain and install and clean out the bluebird boxes.
Okay.
And I'm thinking if there's going to be construction starting anytime soon, I'd rather take them down before, I don't want them to start nesting and then have some problems. So any thoughts on starting? Would it be this year or?
I'm hopeful that after reviewing the budget with the township administrator and exploring options for possible financing and finding out what our grant application status is for several of the grants that we applied for, that we might be able to come up with a period of time beginning of summer so that we're not disrupting any of the spring sports. And have minimal impact on the kids being able to get out and enjoy the fields and whatnot. So that would be the earliest I anticipate it beginning.
It would be done already, Diana.
To another spot where it's safer. By the parking
Sure,
lot right now.
sure. I think the bluebirds will be fine, frankly, until their springtime mating,
Their
so
mating, yeah.
they should be fine.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome. If I can just reserve for people that haven't commented yet, and then we'll come back around, if that's okay. Anybody that hasn't commented yet, that wishes to comment? Okay.
I just have one
Sure.
further comment. I'm not aware of this situation, and I heard, although 30,000 chickens sounds like a lot of chickens. 300,000 sounds like 10 times the number of chickens that would concern me. But whether it's thirsty trees, or whether it's 300,000 chickens, or whether it's an overreaching subdivision, or whether it's a commercial business being cloaked as an agricultural business in this town, I just hope that this committee and the zoning officer and the boards that are involved just take all of this seriously and apply the laws appropriately and do the right job for everybody. And that's my position, because I've been living here a while and I've seen things not go that way often. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to address one last item here, and it ties back, I think, Joe, the comment you made regarding, I think social media, I'm not really sure I understood the context other than, I think you made a comment about no one being denied access. I believe there is a report from, I think it's January the 4th, where the New Jersey fire inspector says they tried to go to the property on December the 13th, but they were not able to enter. That sounds like being denied access to me. That's one. Two, they also appeared in early January for propane tanks. The two of the fire marshals sat outside on Liz Kohler's property trying to gain entry. They were not allowed to enter to check. Third, I believe our own humane officer, Murphy, was denied access on 2 separate occasions as well. So I agree we should not use mis or disinformation, but we should be clear we have our facts right.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna comment on it because, for several reasons. Following last month's meeting when the issue was raised, the mayor immediately convened a meeting with Officer Murphy, Sergeant Ellis, Mike Mullen, and the 2 fire marshals
from the county.
From the county, and who else was there? You were there?
Ms. McDaniels?
And I was there.
Yes.
So the 2 fire marshals you referenced, we all personally spoke with, and everybody here who was at the meeting can say they categorically denied not having access. Officer Murphy was in the meeting. He said he was not denied access. So when you talk about the facts, I'm conveying to you, I was in a meeting face to face with these stakeholders, and we conveyed the information that was provided, and to a person, everybody that was participated in that conversation said that the information that was provided was not correct. So the reason that, excuse me, just please let me finish. So that is the reason why I made the statement about social media, because that doesn't mean that the township isn't taking the situation seriously. It doesn't mean that there are not actions in accordance with the law that we could take, like reviewing zoning ordinances, one of which was on the agenda tonight. But I will say this in the most general way. The township needs to proceed in a manner that ensures that if a court is reviewing an ordinance that is the subject of litigation 3 years from now, they understand, and that's why I'm making the record, that it is not spot zoning. We are not singling out a single property, because if the court determines that an ordinance was passed for a single owner, it is unenforceable. It is not allowed under New Jersey law. So I am doing what I need to do to protect the township, which includes everybody in this room. And you may not hear it the same way as me, and may misconstrue steps that are taken as not hearing your concerns or not advocating for you. The absolute contrary is the truth. It is, I am doing everything that I need to do as a 32-year litigator who does land use, that understands what a judge is going to say to me 3 years from now, to ensure that the record is defendable. That's what I am doing in working with the Township Committee. I can have communication with the Township Committee that is protected, because I am not your attorney. I am the Township Attorney. I am hired by the elected officials. If I send an email to anyone on this dais and somebody sends an open request for the communication, they don't get it. If I answer your question, they send an open request, they get it. They get to read my communication with you. So there's a reason why I say I'm not your attorney. I'm not. And to protect the township, my communication is best served by speaking and sharing my mental thoughts and my opinions with those that under New Jersey law says it's protected. So it's important for you to hear all of that in the context. So when statements are made about what are facts and what aren't facts, you need to know that we had a meeting, and everybody except the 2 fire officials, they phoned in by phone. Everybody else was sitting at this table when we had a meeting. And because that's how serious the mayor takes it, he convened a meeting and asked everybody who was involved to discuss and get on the same page. And that's what we did.
And I think, I just want to add on to that. I hope that you folks realize this particular issue was brought to our attention at the last meeting. Since the last meeting, we have made multiple efforts, including the meeting that the Township Council is referring to, the review of possible avenues that the township can take to try to stem this from becoming a problem. But at the same time, I think everyone needs to temper their expectations that we need to move in a manner that is going to protect the township, protect our ability to defend whatever ordinances we put in place down the road. And in order to do that, you just got to give us a little bit of time. Now, I understand everyone's concerned because there's this tornado coming. Unfortunately, we're moving as fast as we possibly can to stop that tornado. And that's all I can promise you. We as a committee have to listen to experts that the township has hired to provide us with advice. And the township attorney is providing that legal advice to us. We are taking that in context with trying to come up with a solution that will address the issue. But like I said previously, it's going to take some time. So I understand how frustrated you are, but you've got to give us a little bit of time to try to come up with a resolution that's going to work. Because I know I speak for myself, and I probably speak for the rest of this committee. We very much are concerned about this particular issue, and we're going to do everything possible to help you and help the township. I promise you that. Okay? The other point I wanted to make just really quickly is when in trying to reach out to several of the agencies, both at the county level and at the state level, the township has had a little bit of a difficult time getting anyone to listen to us because I think they've heard the issue before from individual residents. And so I think they've become almost a little bit tone deaf to the whole issue. So if it's possible to refrain from any further contact with those particular agencies or government officials until we exhaust our ability to communicate with those folks, because we're not getting any response on some of our inquiries.
On that quick note, two quick items, and thank you very much for all of those comments. I greatly appreciate it. Number one, and maybe I misheard Joe earlier, where he said we're going to act, but we're not necessarily going to tell you what we're going to do and when we're going to act. So for us not to contact